Okay, today I want to talk about histograms. And before we talk about histograms, we need to understand what a bin is. A bin is a series of ranges, or, well, actually, you can read right there, okay? It's each of a series of ranges of numerical value into which data are sorted in statistical analysis. As a verb, is grouping data together in bins. When we talk about statistical analysis and histograms, we have to sort the data that we have into meaningful bins so that we can see patterns in the data. And in the data set that we've been playing with, which is student height data, we have values from 4.48 to 5.92. And I look at different ways that we could view these. We could bin these by uh, 4, 5, and 6. We could count by halves, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6. We could go by quarters, that should be 4.25, but counting by 0.25, going from 4 to 6, or by 0.2s or 0.1s. We will come up with some better ways to do this, but right now we're just kind of looking at the different results we would get if we use these different bin values. So if we just use 4, 5, and 6, it doesn't give us enough resolution. We only see two columns. We really can't see what's going on in the data. So this one is not a good choice. If we look at counting by halves, it looks a little bit better. You can see the standard deviation, not standard deviation, the bell curve, the normal distribution appearing right here. And if we go to halves, you can kind of see that the data doesn't line up very nice. Here it's a little skewed. We have two tall points and then a lot of short things. This doesn't really make sense with what we know the data should look like. When we go to counting by 0.2, it looks really nice. Look at this. We see it's a little bit skewed to the left, but overall it shows us a nice bell curve with a single tall point in the middle. If we continue to counting by 0.1, we have too many bins here. We've got gaps and we've got it showing up and down patterns and stuff. We've got too much granularity in this data set for these bins for this histogram, because you have all these little points everywhere. It looks like you have things going on that are not really going on. It looks like you have three modes and you really don't. So really I like the one right here, the one that's counting by 0.2s. So let's go see what we would need to do to make that happen in our data tables here. So I'm going to switch over to Excel, and we are going to look at this table. So what I want to do is go to look at the deep breath. Okay, here we go. I want to click on data. Right here in the menu bar at the top, we've got file and home and all that kind of thing. I want to go to data. We're going to go to the data analysis tool pack, and I'm going to click on histogram. Right there, you can see histogram. If I'm going to highlight that a little bit for you. And then we click OK. First thing we need to do is highlight our data input range. So I'm going to click on the waffle. We love to call it the waffle. And I'm going to highlight all of my data. And then I'm going to click on the drop down. And in this case, oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't set a bin range. Okay, so we're going to cancel that. I have to have my bins defined before I start. Whoops, my bad. Bin. And then right here, I'm going to go 4 and then 4.2. Here's a little shortcut for you. Highlight 4 and 4.2. Point your cursor at the bottom right. It'll turn into a black cross. Hold down your left key and drag until you get to 6, and it will fill in that data for you. Okay, now we have a bin. All right, so now we click on data analysis, histogram, click OK. We're going to go pick our input range, D1 through D25. Click on the drop down here, so we see D1 through D25 in our input range. Our bin range, what we're going to sort our data into, we're going to click on that waffle and select these numbers, G12 to G22. That just happens to be where I put my bins. The bins can be anything you define. Okay, and then I want to have this populate a new workbook. If you wanted to use an output range, I'll go ahead and do that. We're going to put it on this same page. Remember, it's going to generate a few columns of data and make a graph. So I want to put this away from anything I've typed. So I'm going to click on my waffle, and I'm going to put this in column J. Okay, and so I select J1, and that's where it's going to put its data. Last thing I need to do on this is select chart output. When I do that, and then click OK, it's going to put all of that into a nice little bin. And for some reason, it stuck my chart way over here. So I'm going to move my chart around, and then I can grab these little corners and make it much larger so I can kind of see what's going on. I don't recommend spending a lot of time messing with the data to make it look pretty, or messing with the charts to make them look pretty. Just use it as it comes out. So as you can see, we get a nice normal distribution, and that's what we're looking for when we do data analysis. I hope this helps you learn how to do histograms. Have a good day.